Hello everyone, my name is Metro18 and welcome to It Gets So Lonely Here. Now, if you do not know what this is a visual novel. If I'm correct, this is a Yuri visual novel. I actually don't know too much about it. I just know this was just a random visual novel that I actually kind of just saw on Steam and kind of just caught my eye. I forget if it was free or not. I'm about to spit the dosh. I don't really know. But I saw this and I really wanted to give it a try. I like the style and I thought it'd be just fun to do something just a little different. So yeah, I guess without further ado, we're gonna jump into it. I shall say as well, I do not know how long it is. I was also gonna say as well, I was really concerned. I was actually really concerned that I wasn't gonna have any music or anything, which music, you don't have to have in visual novels, but I played visual novels without music and sound, and it's really depressing when it's like nothing playing in it, right? Like the Hello Charlotte series, right? They actually do have a visual novel, and I played that on my own time, and that was actually really good, but there was no music and sound, and I know that was like the idea of it apparently, but like, God, man, you don't realize how much like that makes a difference, so you play game without it. Mystical birds? Crows! Somebody shut up. You're running through a forest, sorry. It is late at night and the sky is as black as pitch. There is nothing to light your way save for the moon's milky glow, but its rays cannot reach you. Not properly, at least. The trees which surround you, juddering out of the earth like eerie monuments to foreign gods, are bolting out most of the light. You cannot see where you're going. Even if you had commenced your flight at a more sensible hour, however, with the light of the sun to aid you, it would be of little use. Sorry, I need to stop. You stop being a dum-dum. You do not know where you're going. You have no map, no route, no plan. You're running like a frightened animal, anxious and nervy, with no destination in mind. You have no desire. As you run, save to escape. You cannot let yourself be caught. If that were to happen, you are certain that you would be ruined. You have no choice, therefore, but to keep going on and on and on. Though your feet are screaming at you for mercy. Also, real quick, can I? No offense. I like the music, but if it's just gonna play like the same tune, I'm gonna go insane. Okay? Do like the music, but I don't know. Let's just listen. Oh, yes. The running, the pedals, the crunch. Oh! I love it so much. I'm so sorry. You have no idea how long you've been running. Time has begun to blend together. It has all lost meaning. God, see, that's what I'm talking about. It's so much better. Listen, I do apologize. The music's actually really nice, but I don't know. There's a time and place for it, okay? No music, but so... I don't know what you want me to say. Something sharp snags at the hem of your skirt, but you do not have the luxury to pause and examine what has happened. Instead, you tug on the rug. Sorry. Your skirt tears, the sound splitting through the forest, and you stumble forward with a shocked gasp. You're free! But at what cost? My skirt! The pedals! You know how expensive that was? Lingerie! Your skirt has been irreversibly damaged. It might honestly be too late to worry about such trivial matters now, though. If you do not start running again, and soon, she will catch you. You do not know if she is still following you, but you do not want to risk looking over your shoulder. If you were to see her, silhouetted beneath a tree, looking at you with that stickly sweet smile, which once has snared you before, you would lose what little nerve you possess. Your legs would lock up, and your blood would freeze in your veins. Then you would crumble. You would fall, but you would not hit the ground? I don't know. Gravity would disagree with you in that nature, I gotta say. She would be there to catch you, of course. She did not promise when you made that contract that you would never be alone. You would like to take back that silly wish of yours, but it is too late for that now. It is too late for a lot of things. All you can do is run. So you run. And run. And run. While icy fog swirl about your feet. It is cold enough to sap the heat from your body and you shudder from it. It feels as though you are drowning. It feels as though you are being buried alive. Your knees and your shins, meanwhile, are bleeding. You cannot endure much more of this. But if you value your own life, you must! Of course, if you don't, you can stop. You can go to sleep, okay? Just fall for a little bit. It'll okay, it'll all be okay, my darling. You run, and you run, and you run, until at long last, you reach a fork in the road. Am I gonna get a decision? Gameplay mechanics. There are 3 paths which split off through the forest. Well, 4, if you count the path down which you came. You cannot exactly double back on yourself, though. Not when you have put so much effort into running forwards. The 3 paths are signposted, which is something of a strange sight, given you are so deep in the torch. What do you mean signposted? Am I dumb? Dumb? Probably. Dark though it might be, you have grown accustomed to the shadows. You can just about pick out the writing on this odd, dilapidated signpost, curved and slanted though it may be. Your fate. If you will forgive me for sounding cliche, it is in your hands. Well, technically speaking, it's in my hands. You know, I am the game player, after all, the player. Now, I wonder, which path will you take? Decisions. I didn't save game. Why? No. Now I'll have to deal with the consequences of my actions. I don't know. To the village? To the shore? I am breathing. I mean, it depends. Who is chasing after us? If we're escaping some psycho in the woods, then, well, psycho, I think I know who it is. I don't. I haven't played the game, but listen, maybe not psycho is the incorrect term, okay? Maybe a yandere, I don't know! It's just another fancy word for love, like boys. I'm just saying, run away from her. Castle would make the most sense just because guards, people, defend, my queen! Village, maybe people to help us, sure, maybe we can drown? I don't know. I'll go to the village. So, you want to go to the village? Well, I mean, good idea. Oh, they're all good ideas. We'll see. Let us see what further trials await you there. This night is far from over, as much as you might wish it was, and there is still so much more to discover. I wonder what will happen next. You follow the path which leads to the village, supporting yourself on wary, aching limbs which feel ready at a moment's notice. Snap at the knees beneath the burden of your weight. Burden? You call me fat? The soles of your feet are screaming at you. You only hope as you continue to run that you will find a suitable residence in which to rest at the village. You do not know what will await you at the village, but you have visions as you run of a quaint, scenic settlement, all thatched cottages with sloping roofs. Surely there will be a kindly peasant who will be willing to put up with a young runaway for a few nights. A young runaway, huh? Yeah. You can imagine, too, the face of this kindly peasant from the fairy tales you read in abundance as a small child. She will be broad shoulders and ruddy face, are you sure? With dull brown hair, of course. Her arms will be sturdy from many years of washing clothes and milking cows, but she will be kind to you and compassionate just like a mother. You do not know what mothers are like. You hardly ever spoke to yours. Oh, okay. You only guessed it, of course. You are not a complete fool, however, despite your tendency to daydream and frolic in the fields of flowers. You do have a few reservations, of course. Let's not be dumb. Okay! They might also be psychos. Peasants do not, as you know from your voracious readings, have much money, nor do they have much food. It might be hard to convince the residents of the village, even the kindly washerwoman of your fantasies, to take in a complete stranger. Yes. The fantasies of a poor madame who will take me in, maybe rub me, I don't know. Still, I'm so sorry. You must try. That's all you can do, really. So you run to the village. It takes some time before you finally emerge from the woods, but finally, you manage. Sorry, I don't know why I'm looking at you. How much time, you ask? Well, I didn't. I cannot answer that. Did I not say that time has begun to lose all its meaning? The forest is behind you now, Elise, and all the awful nightmares which dwelt within it. It is still cold though, and still foggy. Where all the sound go? It is still dark too. There you go. You can see the moon more clearly now, though as it hangs above your head, round as any pearl orb or crystal ball. The moonlight shines down upon the village, bubbles, nestled among the hills like a dome array. You finally made it. Surely not, but your salvation awaits you. Yeah, you follow the winding dirt path to the village, looking this way and that. But your hope, such a precious and fragile thing is it not, soon begins to fade. And why is that? The village up close does not look half as welcoming as you imagine. Well, fairy tales and all that. There are cottages, yes, but they are in a state of disrepair. There are holes in the roofs and holes in the windows. Most of the doors are tightly shut, but others are gaping open. The kitchen beyond them even darker than the night sky which shrouds you. There are no lights on in any of the windows, and neither can you see any people. Insomnia like you at them. Insomniacs. I still said it wrong. Don't talk to me, okay? I'm never good at words. You cannot hear anything either, beyond the sound of your own footsteps and the lone, mournful sighing of the wind. It is immediately obvious, though, even to a naive girl such as yourself, that something terrible must have befallen this village. You know before you try your luck at one of the houses that nobody will answer you. There will be no kindly red-armed washerwoman to welcome you here, no matter how much you wish for it. But that does not stop you from wishing regardless. Your knuckles rap smartly against the wooden door. Your efforts soon prove, however, to be in vain. Nobody answers you. How could they? Oh no. Dead! There's nobody there. Once again, though, you've found yourself all alone. At least you have found some dwellings in which you can rest your weary head. Hey, yeah, see, there's a positive. Will you utilize one of these cottages for your purpose? Is this another decision? Should I save? Nobody is here, so I mean, you might as well. But no! An abandoned cottage is not what you're looking for. You would far rather have companionship, would you not? Bravely, you swallow your tears. You wipe your eyes with the back of your arms in a well-practiced motion. Then inhale. You square your shoulders. And you stand proud. You keep going on. And you keep going on. Keep on going. Sorry. Surely the village cannot be completely deserted, right? There must be one person here, at the very least, who can help you. That is what you were thinking as you resume your search. You flirt from cottage to cottage with precise little to show for your determination until you make yet another discovery. This village, with its squat thatched cottages bathed in the moon's glow, has a church. Well, of course it has a church. The villagers who once dwelled here were not godless heathens, not that their faith did them all that much good in the end. Still, the sight of the church soothes your overtaxed heart. You were so focused on your fantasies of a kindly washerwoman taking you in, scrubbing you, you dirty little heathen. I'm so sorry. You not pause to entertain the fancy of a kindly nun doing much the same. All hope is not lost, my young child. You approach the church, which seems to tower over you, despite it being so humble. The church is a small one, but it is stout and sturdy. It must be, for it has withstood centuries, forever standing sentinel on this hill like a relic from a bygone era. The stone building is fringed by a suitable graveyard, one which occupies the rest of the hilltop, and some of its sloping sides. Some of the gravestones are shaped like lozenges, while others are shaped like crosses. A handful of headstones are even shaped like angels. Though these are few and far between, there are very few people in a village such as this one who could afford such luxurious final resting places. Well, I mean, the village looked quite big from at least a bird's eye sort of view. You looked at the tombstones with an almost childlike curiosity, forgetting an examination of the Versailles, heart reading with fear which gripped you as you ran through the forest. You are out of the woods now, and you have subconsciously already begun to relax. You try to read the names hewed in the Mithrid's tombstones, but it is dark, and you are tired, and some of these graves are very, very old indeed. You strain your eyes, but do not have much luck in this endeavor. Oh well, such superfluous details is not important. You're eventually tired of examining the graves and turn away. So the church! This graveyard is an expansive one. Unusually so, given the village itself is so small. Oh, is it? Perspective! Maybe it's smaller than I thought. How can it boast so many corpses? And there is much to explore. You walk about the perimeter of the area of the church, okay? Casting your gaze first here, then there, then everywhere. Consumed that you are, but you're immersed, all encompassing curiosity. And as you do so, you see her, of course. Let me guess, an angel here to take me away. Oh no, it's one down with a shovel! What are you doing, honey? What's with the shovel? She looks like an ordinary girl, small and scrawny, just like yourself, but she is much, much more than her unremarkable appearance might suggest. Also, I should also say, the main character on the picture has like a school outfit, so I'm very curious. Why do we have what looks like a typical Japanese school outfit, but we're in like the medieval era? I don't mean to poke holes, okay, in your funny little story, but I'm just so curious. How does this make any sense? It's a story, Charles. It's not that deep. You're right. Sorry, I'm being an asshole. For some moments, you observe her, hiding all the while in the shadow cast by the church, like a fruitive lizard clinging against a rocky edifice to shroud itself from the sun. Beneath the moon's light, a silvery implement the girl is clutching shimmers. It takes you a few moments to see what it is that the girl is clutching in her hands. It is not until you see her manipulate it, its sharp edge biting into the earth, that you understand. It's a shovel. A spade, some would say. This girl is standing in an isolated corner of the churchyard late at night, and she is digging a grave. Well, you suppose she could always be digging a hole for the sake of it, but her work seems much too precise for this to be the result of mere whimsy. It is hard for you to see her face, given the distance between the pair of you, but her posture is one that speaks of supreme concentration. She moves slowly, mechanically even, like a woman on a mission, driving the end of her shovel into the earth over and over. Emotions are regular enough to be repetitive. There is something hypnotic almost in the manner in which she attends this task. I mean, well, I imagine this task in itself is very depressing. Grave digging, not really something a lot of people would like, but I understand a repetitive task like this, like obviously at some point you're going to kind of get into a rhythm of it. It can, in some ways, I imagine also be kind of, well, relaxing. You know, if you're digging holes for a body, I imagine. Also, by the way, I do apologize. Listen, I want to talk! Okay, I want to actually have some dialogue in this game. But no, I understand this entire thing in itself is probably very depressing as well for a young madame such as herself, a young individual. I imagine she's young. She looks very young, but even still, it could be somewhat relaxing. Should you risk interrupting her? You get the feeling that she would not appreciate it. The shovel in her hand, meanwhile, is rather hefty. If she wished, she could cause you no small amount of damage with it. Cold anxiety makes your skin prickle. You do not know if you should risk speaking to her when she is in her dark cloak if her shovel looks still very strange. What do you have left to lose? You have come this far. It would be fully to turn back now. It is with this thought in your mind that you decide to approach the strange girl. You want to talk to me, honey, before you start making such a bold decision? I mean, then again, listen, I probably would have done too, but I'm just saying. I'm here, okay? You don't know it, but I am. Your footsteps are quiet, but they are not quite enough. The girl's senses might be finely tuned because she blinks. Then she turns. Your eyes meet, and once they do, you feel your breath catch in your throat. Hey, honey. Ah, you have very pretty eyes. You want to put the shovel down? Also, your shovel is bent. Listen, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude. You do not have a clear view of the girl before, concealed as you were in the shadows, but now she is looking at you. You can tell that she is pretty. Her skin is very smooth, and her hair, though obscured by a dark hood, is very fair. Her eyes, meanwhile, are clear, cool blue, like ice. She looks as though she has stepped out of the pages of a picture book. Perhaps she is some sort of some kind of vision, a waking dream, a hallucination. But no, she is none of those things. The shovel she is clutching in her hand looks solid enough. Its point tipped glittering wickedly in the moonlight. You steel yourself, expecting perhaps some sort of outburst. But the tension soon drains from the girl's slender shoulders. Her fingers, which were once gripping the handle of her shovel tightly relaxes. Aww, a little smile. And then let me guess. I turn around. She hits me! Now I go in the grave, right? She is smiling. And what a smile is. I really hope that doesn't happen. Then again, my luck probably will. It is transformative. Hers is a smile that is too suffused with light that your eyes begin to prickle from it. You're so relieved you almost feel as if you could cry. It would not be the first time you have wept during this night, and neither would it be too surprising if you did. You have been through a lot. You must be exhausted. Yeah, and look at this. She prepared a nice little bed for us. Maybe we should just get in the fucking hole. The girl holding the shovel seems to realize this because she bridges the distance between you cautiously, as one might approach a skittish cat. Then she says in a rough voice, which does not match her dignity apparent. What? Well, she does live in a rural village, but what were you expecting? I don't know. Oh, it's so good to see another person. I was afraid I was the only person left alive. The only one in the whole world. Is that so? Honey, listen. I've played a lot of visual novels, okay? This is actually, strangely enough, giving me a lot of hike back. I don't think it's bike. I always confuse it. Hike bike doesn't sound right. It reminds me a lot of hike back. And I'm just saying, honey, I had trust issues in that game. I might still have trust issues, okay? I'm down to be friends. Just put the shovel down. That's a very dangerous weapon, I gotta say. Still, nonetheless, her introductory speech is riddled with exclamation marks. She is rather more personable than her apparel would make one suggest. You, a well-bred young lady, cannot help but feel overwhelmed. Joyous, you might even say. It is your turn now to be on your guard. Yeah. Anxiously, you observe the girl with the shovel and you ask her what she means. What happened? Oh. Don't you know? You shake your head, ashamed of your ignorance, and the girl frowns. You mustn't be from around these parts, I guess. I should have known. This village is a small one, and everyone knows everyone else. At least, they used to. Back when there's still people to know. That ain't the case now, though. Not after the plague. There was a plague? That would certainly explain why the village, when you walked through it, was so quiet. Though I'd also ask, well, if there's a plague, how would you not... I mean, I guess a plague doesn't have to affect everyone, but small, contained village, I remember everyone would usually die in these cases, but still nonetheless, did everyone else succumb to the mysterious illness? This mysterious illness, sorry. That's right. It's just me here now. I've not seen another human being in a long, long time. It gets so lonely here. It gets so lonely indeed. Now, that's an interesting turn of phrase. I know. Seriously. Unless you're saying the name of the game. I'm so sorry. It catches inside your head like a blur. Burr. You do not have much time to ponder this, however, because the girl takes another step towards you. Oh? But where are my manners? They must have gone rusty after being on my own for so long. My apologies, miss. You look like you've come a long way. You said you were a traveler. Yes? No. I never did, in fact. And your hands are very cold. Just like ice. Are you touching me? Would you like to come inside? Maybe have something warm to eat? And to drink? My home's small, I'm afraid, and my food ain't nothing fancy, but I'd be more than willing to share. It's not every day, of course, another girl stops by, especially not one as pretty as yourself. I'm feeling very blessed. The girl laughs, a carefree, airy sort of laugh, which does not match your initial impression of her. I mean, you can never judge a book by its cover. You thought when you saw her among the graves that she would be more distant, somehow more mysterious. Yeah, I kind of assumed she'd be a bit of a quiet type based on her apparel. Perhaps you are mixing her up with somebody else. You were still unsure if you can trust her, but her invitation is an appealing one. Exactly, we're gonna make a decision. You know, I mean, it's scary as. It is much more appealing, certainly, than spending a night outdoors in the cold kipping on the graves. You make a show of pondering the girl's invitation at the very least, but your literature is alas and never will. Your fancy fucking words, I don't know. Why would you ever refuse her? Well, great, that's a great question. She is the first friendly face you've seen all night. Without her, you would be all alone. But listen, loneliness isn't that. Well, loneliness can be sad, I guess, but at the same time, it's okay to be alone. I'm just saying the voices you get used to. Your hostess leads you to a small, humble home located by a stone thrown away from the church, built in the shadow of twisted, towering Sacrum Moor. The girl's home is in such a state it seems a volley to even call it a home. Evil would be the more appropriate descriptor. But when your hostess leads you inside, her eyes are alive, and she says, "Here we are, home, sweet home." You don't have the heart to tell her that you don't find her home very homey or very sweet. That would be incredibly rude after all. As a guest, you ought to be more appreciated. Exactly. Yeah, this looks really nice, honey. Really nice indeed. Pardon me, you look around your newfound surroundings. The ceiling is supported by wooden jolts, and it's precarious low. Not so much so you are in danger of bumping your head, but just enough to feel claustrophobic. There is a fire in the corner. It is not consigned to a I always gotta say as well, that's something I always ask. Why do you have a fire in a wooden house? Like, I get it, right? It's probably covered by stone. I get it. But I'm just saying, like, what if something sparks? I don't know. I'm afraid the house go up in flames. The fire instead is blazing in the open. A circle of logs set alight like a scene from a witch's kitchen. Above the fire hangs a silvery pot suspended from one of the wooden eaves. Other objects of interest are hung from the eaves. Iron implements you take to be cooking utensils. Various herbs and strips of meat left to cure. The smell, the aroma of cooking fills the air, mingled with the sharp, sour scent of unwashed bodies. How, you wonder, did your hostess clean herself? You do not see a bathtub anywhere? I mean, there was apparently a shore nearby. Probably goes in a lake. I don't know. Is that really my business? Perhaps she does not possess one. I mean, there's a lot of other houses as well. Maybe she goes in the other one. I don't fucking know, Sherlock. The girl's home is unremarkably in every regard. But it is, you suppose, better than nothing. Better than me outside. At least there is a roof over your head, exactly. And food to put in your belly. Hey. Hi. I still don't trust you. I'm so sorry, honey. You're probably a sweetheart. The girl looks at a pot suspended over the fire, where she gives a stir with a ladle. Then she brings the ladle to her lips to taste whatever concoction she has brewing within it. Yes. I think this is about done. Do you want something? It looks as though you come quite the long way. And you must be hungry. The words are like music to your ears, even more divine than the trumpet of God's most loyal angels. You're so hungry, you could eat a horse, cow, maybe. I don't know. A chicken? A rooster? How hungry are you really? Not that there are any horses in the immediate vicinity. Does that matter? Your interest in your husband, who smiles in response. I thought you'd like the sound of that. Just give me a few moments. Sorry. Your hostess retrieves 2 earthen warming bowls from a cupboard with rickety hinges on which she pours 2 hefty helpings of whatever she is cooking. It's not human meat, is it? This she serves with bread, which is so hefty it could be used as a murder weapon. It's not much, I'm afraid. It's only soup and bread. It should take the edge off your appetite, though. You thank your hostess for her hospitality, your stomach grumbling out of the while. The soup does not look like anything you would typically consume, but the soup, poor presentation, does not dissuade you, but nothing. It is true enough that people eat first with their eyes, but when one is hungry enough, one becomes obliging enough to eat almost anything. Why else do you think that people who strand upon desert islands will resort to cannibalism? I don't know, maybe eat the sand. Maybe it's good. Humans are creatures of necessity. You look to wrap yourself in pretensions, but in actuality, you're not much better than animals. Yeah. You are so hungry, in fact, your stomach is aching impotently that you certainly descend upon your food like an animal. Your hostess watches while you eat, and she giggles once you have finished. There something funny? Did you enjoy that? Oh, you catch your hostess gaze suddenly abashed. You were so hungry you failed to account for her judgment. Now you have some food in your belly, though, and you have been suitably warmed. Your old self-consciousness is returning. Did you not make a fool out of yourself? I mean, listen, I understand, people, appearance, I get it, but at the same time, like, listen, hunger, does it really matter? Your demeanor shyly, looking at your lap, fearful all the while of what your hostess might think of you. Fortunately for you, however, in your fragile little ego, your hostess is not the judgmental sorted. Ah, well, that's nice. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's nice to see my food being appreciated so heartily. I know I'm not the best, but I've been practicing for a little while now. I used to cook for my father all the time, you see. This remark catches your attention. Questioningly, you look at your hostess. Your bashment over your animalistic eating habits suspended. What happened to her father? The plague? I don't know. Maybe she did kill her. It seems a grim thing to contemplate after having eaten, but then your hostess meant something about a plague? Yeah. Yes, your hostess says. Her voice soft now and serious. That's right. There was a plague. And what of the villagers? What of her father? I don't know. Dead? What do you think they are, honey? What do you think she was doing? They're all gone now. Your hostess rearranged herself upon her chair, one slender leg folded over the other. Then she begins her tale in earnest. My family has a history. We lived here for centuries, by the church, so we could tend to the graveyard. It would certainly explain the dirt? It might tell him, maybe. My father used to prepare bodies for burial, back when he was alive. He built the coffins, and he dug the graves, and he lowered the coffins into the dirt. Then he covered them! I know it might sound like an awful job, but someone's gotta do it, and there's no sense averting our eyes from death. Not when it happens to the best of us. It's a noble profession, one that's been handed down in our family for generations. Yeah, you say noble, but you don't look too happy about it. My father's fathers was a grave digger, and so is my father's father's fathers, and my father's 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 fathers. Digging graves is in our blood. It's who we are. My. That was a surprisingly pretty speech coming from a girl who lives in the countryside, a girl who is without much in the way of education. Is apparent just to listen to her, the way she slurs her syllables together, that she has never had any allocation lessons, not like you. There's determination, however, to her, and a pride in her heritage, which gives her respectable aura. You cannot help but be impressed. So, you ask your hostess. Does that make her one in a long line of grave diggers? I mean, what did you see her doing? Digging a grave? I don't know. Was she jerking a fucking dick? Yes. I'm so sorry. Your hostess, the grave digger, says. That's about right. Though I was never supposed to be a grave digger myself. It's not a woman's profession after all. That's what everyone says. My father didn't mind that though. He taught me everything he knew. and then some. I might be a woman, but I have plenty of upper body strength. I can dig a grave just as well as my father could, without even breaking a sweat. To the despair of my mother up in heaven, I'm sure. If she was still alive, she'd rather I focus on a more feminine pursuit, like basket weaving or sewing, to better attract a suitor. Not that that would do much good now. There's nobody around who courted me, not for miles and miles. And what happened to her mother? I'm so sorry. I'm actually really liking it. It's just the dumbness, is that what you say? What happened to her mother? I don't know. What happened to the father? What happened to the villagers? What happened to the entire place? The plague? What do you think? Okay, what else? She died when I was very young. Oh, during childbirth. Yeah, okay, it wasn't a plague, but still, I kind of wish it was now. It's very sad. You can relate to her. At least upon this point. Your parents are not dead. At least not as far as you are aware, but you have not seen them in an awfully long time. They sent you away as soon as you were old enough, and they never once bothered to check up on you. For many years, there have been no letters, nor any visitors. Well, I mean, maybe, you know, if this is in like historical times in the church, Charles, great. What do you think it is? Listen, it probably just takes a while for letters to get delivered. That's all. I'm sure they care. You offer the gravedigger your condolence. You do not know if this will help, but you feel like you cannot say nothing. That would seem heartless. It's all right. It was ages ago. I don't remember her too well, and I never really had the luxury of sitting around feeling sorry for myself. I had too much work to do. Well, I mean, at least you were able to keep yourself busy, I guess. Around the house, you ask? That too. I was the oldest child, so it was my job after my mother died to manage the sweeping and the cooking. Oh, and look at all my siblings too. You blinked intrigued, then glanced at about your this humble's lodging. You don't see any siblings in the immediate vicinity. Where could they be? The gravedigger must have noticed your roving eyes, because she shakes her head. I had siblings, 2 younger brothers. They're both gone now. That's what I'm saying. You should have known! Clearly, they're outside frolicking in the woods. Where else would he be? You apologize to the gravedigger for your lack of tact, but she does not seem upset by this fact's pass. Don't apologize. 'Twas not your fault. My brothers weren't long for this world. Anyways, the youngest he died when he was still a baby, and the oldest he died before he reached double digits. I was upset about it at the time, of course, but I've come to terms with it. Well, I mean, yeah. Life's a fleeting thing in this old wicked old world. There's something you learn in this trade, digging graves. I mean, yeah, I guess that's also the thing too, right? It's like, obviously because this is, because, what's the guy? This is the modern era, right? Obviously in this old sort of like time, the lifespan I imagine would be a lot different just due to lack of the food in that, right? Hygiene, all that sort of stuff, if you will. It makes sense that, the lifespan would be a lot more kind of smaller, if you would. But even still, it's like, I mean, you come to terms with it, but it still sucks. I've dug graves for the elderly and the infirm, but I've also dug graves for young babies still in their swaddling clothes. That's the nature of death. It comes for all of us in the end, no matter how old we are, no matter how much money we have, no matter how good or bad we've been. It's the great equalizer. A chill creeps down your spine as you listen to your hostess speech. She is not wrong, but the inherent mortality of all humankind is not something you wish to contemplate. It is too disturbing. For the longest times, my family was a small one. It was just my father and I, in me, sorry. But that was fine. It was how I liked it. I was very happy even when our lives weren't the best. I never had any fancy clothes to wear. And we can't dine on the finest of food, in the grand scheme of things. We weren't anything that special, but I always felt otherwise. I thought that I was blessed. We knew hardship, of course, and feminine, but that's just the way life is round here. When food supplies were low, we always helped one another. I had my father, but I also had the rest of the village. We all looked after one another, and things always worked out in the end. Well, at least they did, until the plague happened. Yeah, she had mentioned a plague. Out of curiosity, the plague, I understand the plague took a lot of people. I'm not trying to be rude or like cross any lines, but why did it not affect you? Were you like not in the area or something? Like, I'm not trying to be rude. Listen, I'm so sorry. My trust is like not that high right now. You suppose the plague is the reason that the village as you traversed was so very empty, of course. You suppose, right? The plague caused the village. I don't remember when. It feels like a little while ago, but maybe it wasn't all that long after all. It feels like I've been on my own for centuries, but your host's eyes begin to cloud over. She looks as though she's entrenched within her own memories. What could she be remembering? Probably not happy thoughts. You've never seen plague before, though you have heard of them in your history. lessons. Your history professor was quite enthusiastic about the subject. She talked about piles of dead bodies stacked up on the street. What, huh? And stacked up to the window. Dead bodies, I know. Enthusiastic? Huh? That just seems so weird. Up in the window carts come to take them away with no storage of amplet. She was a strange woman, your history professor. Yeah, she sounds like it. But still. The plague came on very suddenly. There was no warning. One day everything was fine, and the next they were all dead. It is with no small amount of anxiety that you eye the gravedigger. And you ask worriedly, surely they could not all have died yet? I mean, you lived, right? Is that not an exaggeration? Oh, if only. I wish I was exaggerating, but the truth is, honest to God. But it's the truth, sorry. The people in the village died, one after the other. Just like that. I saw what that plague does to people firsthand. My father was one of the first people who caught it. I think one of the bodies which came through that we buried must have had it. Not that I know for certain. I'm just guessing. Still, my father didn't have an easy time of it. Ooh, his skin turned all gray and clammy, and he complained of a horrible fever. There were night sweats and stomach cramps, and then there were the boils. The boils? Boils, I imagine, kind of like chicken pox. Is that the correct term? I'm sorry, I've never had chicken pox. I wouldn't know. But I imagine they're like chicken pox. They're like kind of all these, I guess zits, right? Like just massive zits, kind of like swell and then kind of burst. If that makes sense. Pustules. They were the size of eggs. And yeah, they were full of pus, exactly. When they burst, it's stuck. The whole house would be full of it. Yeah, and I imagine as well when they burst, that's kind of like, because I'm trying to remember, right? Like, if I recall from what I've been told in history, I imagine when you get that sort of stuff and it bursts, that's kind of how like it affects, right? Like it blows up and then it becomes just more like it either goes in the air or you touch them. I don't know. Listen, it moves around. The wise woman in the village came to see if she could be of any use, but it was no good. My father was far too gone already. She took one look at him, lying on his deathbed, and she shook her head. She said she didn't want to go any closer. Yeah, and affection. I can't say I blame her. It was a ghastly sight. I didn't appreciate it at that time, though. It felt as if she was turning her back on us. Ooh, I wished her ill. I remember that. Yeah, until a few days passed, and she fell sick too. But still, then I felt bad for cursing her. I couldn't help but worry if it was all my fault. It's silly, I know, but Gravedigger closes her eyes. She seems to squeeze her lids together. Huh? You mean lips? Lids. Sorry, that just sounds so weird to me. Her lids. What do you mean by that, honey? Until her lashes meet. Oh, eyelids. Okay. My mind was somewhere else. Not pervert, I'm just saying. Just like lips. I was so confused. Until her lashes melt, her like flecks in the fallen snow. It wasn't long after that the rest of the village fell ill. They all had the same symptoms as my father. The clammy skin, the fever, and the boils. The boils grew. And they burst, and then they died in screaming, stinking agony. My father died too, only 3 days after he fell ill. But I think even that was 3 days too many. I didn't want my father to die, of course. I did everything I could to help him, but it was all pointless. I couldn't make a blind bit of difference. I mean, that's the thing too. You don't really have, I mean, I guess you do technically have doctors, but what they really know in this time, right? The medical procedure were very different. Again, I'm so sorry, honey. It's not that I don't trust you, just like the honey, the woman who went to look at your father. I understand her getting sick because she looked after him or like charged you, but like you being a relative super close to him, just very weird that you didn't get infected. You know, maybe you're just, it could be maybe her immune system, but even still, like, right, isn't that the thing? Like foreign stuff, your immune system usually isn't that well, so I'm just really confused about it all. I'm sure it's just my imagination. I'm just being a little crazy, but still. All I did was stand about his bedside, tell him that I'd be alright, until I sank into his skull like 2 black stones and his mouth dried out. During that last day before he died, he might have been a corpse already. He didn't look at me. He didn't speak to me. He just lay in bed with his eyes closed, groaning. I never wished any ill on my father before, but during those moments, she trembles. In a voice throbbing with awful motion, she says, I wish he just die. Well, based on her anecdotes, it does not sound like she had overly laid long to wait. I wonder if she would consider that a silver lining. Yeah, I mean, no, perhaps not. I mean, I understand wishing that in the moment. No one likes seeing someone just suffer. Not a fun thing, so it's understandable. The Gravedigger is still shaking. She will not cry, will she? You hope not. I mean, you know, if she does, I'm a stranger, but I mean, hey, sometimes it helps having someone listen, so you know, all ears. Awkwardly, you look at the gravedigger. You're not sure how to soothe her, but you know you must make some sort of effort, even if it's a token. You shift upon your chair, which feels very cold and hard beneath your thighs. Then you say, very softly, you are sorry. It is not much, but it's all you can think of saying. I mean, yeah, oh, sorry, didn't mean to do that. I mean, what else can you realistically say in this scenario? You can't realistically understand if you try to pretend. It can come off as rude to a lot of people, so. You thought initially that your situation was comparable to that of the gravedigger, but now you can see that this is not the case. Her suffering has far outstripped your own. Not that suffering is a competition, of course. Your apologies feel inadequate to your ears. Largely because it is, but the gravedigger seems not to mind it. Aw. She's a very big-hearted, that girl. The smile at you so, no matter how foolish she might be. Do you really deserve such kindness? I mean, maybe she's just happy that she has someone with her. Oh. Again with the apologies. It's alright. Like I said, you didn't cause any of this. I'm not upset at you, I'm just recounting what happened is odd. I do wonder, though, why I never feel sick myself. Exactly. I wonder as well. I thought I was gonna die, so I already prepared for the Reaper to come and take me away. But maybe he wasn't interested. Maybe he already set it at his appetite on all the others. That! Or maybe he thought he had to leave me alive for practicality's sakes. With my father gone, who else would tend to the dead? That's an interesting way to look at it. I was the only person left by the end of it, so I had to bury the people in the village. They are all resting peacefully now, under the earth, where the plague can't reach them. On the one hand, I'm happy for them. They were able to escape from all the suffering. When I think about all the people I lost, though, gravedigger tenses. When I think about all the kindly washerwomen, the washerwomen who helped me scrub the mud and the dirt from my clothes. Aha. So there was them! They were here! I was right! But I came so soon! Oh, the lovely woman of my fantasies! It will never come true now! I'm so sorry! And the handsome young farmhands who used to flirt with me. Oh! The romantic fantasies! The long gone! I'm so sorry. The priests who preached at the church, who told us wonderful tales of paradise, and the children who would skip stones on the lakes and play hopscotch in the streets. I can't help but feel so lonely. The gravedigger eyes begin to shine. Once she has finished her address with tears, but she does not let them fall. She's being very brave. Much more than you are. I mean, anxiety, you extend a hand towards her, me too. I mean, I imagine with all the time she's been alone, she's probably just had a lot of time to kind of just come to terms with it and accept it, so it doesn't surprise me too much. What? Give her a hug? You don't know her very well. Pat her head? That would be infantilizing, yeah. Squeeze her hand? Perhaps that could be miscued as a romantic, of course, and that's the last thing you'd want. You sit there for a few moments, paralyzed by indecision as the gravedigger poorly suppresses their sniffle, and of course, obviously, now we're gonna make the final decisions. Only succeed! I'll save a gun! Yes, someone oversight. In the end, you let your arm drop back down to your side, you coward! Your hands rest upon your lap. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm doing the voice still. As useful as damp kindling. You do not know what to do with it. You do know that you ought to say something, though, to show that you heard her plight and that you care. You do not know what this something should be, however. No words could ever console the gravedigger. They would never be enough. They could offer some balm, however, to the brave, and so, after a pause, just long enough to be awkward, you offer your condolence. Oh no! The gravedigger replies. It's alright. I've grown used to it, really. Being on my own, I mean. It ain't so bad, really. Well, you say that. You've complained a lot about it being very lonely, so I imagine maybe you're just trying to put on a tough girl act, I don't know. And I'm not alone now, at least. Exactly. I met you. You'll keep me company, won't you? Ah, but alas, I should not! No, I'm joking. Why can you say that? You aren't callous enough to trample this poor girl's hope, are you? You know full well yourself how awful that feels. You can do nothing but nod. A response which makes the girl smile more widely still. Ah, that's wonderful. I know you're just a traveler who's passing through, but I can offer you bread and board until you leave. I have food enough and a spare bedroom. I can put up for you right now. You must be tired after your long journey. Just give me a moment. The gravedigger rises to her feet in a flurry of excitement, then retreats. Again, sorry, just very anxious. I really am. You watch the parts a little eager to please and frown. Her little home is a small, humble one with a low ceiling and slanted walls. You cannot imagine such a small dwelling passing a spare bedroom. The so-called spare bedroom is, in all likelihood, the room her father slept in before the plague carried her off. You do not think you would much like to spend the night in a room with a dead man, but what choice you have exactly? You were tired. Actually, so. All right. I'm gonna call it here. I do apologize for like the abrupt ending. It's just I've been going at this for a minute. This is just God, man. I don't know how long. I don't know what I expect that. I'm not sure how long this visual novel is. Even if it's short, there's multiple routes. But even still, like this is just going on and on. I really like it. Don't get me wrong. It's just it's so long. But yeah, I'm gonna call it here. I've been going at it for a minute. Thank you everyone for watching. Does me on again. I'm so sorry, bro. It just feels so, bro. Guys, just I'm gonna end it. I didn't know when to stop. Okay, the story was going on. What am I gonna do? Interrupt me, honey. Shut up. I gotta go. It's like no, it's so rude. I can't say it to the darling. That'd be so crude. But listen, I'm gonna shut up. Okay, I actually need to stop. I've been going at this for a minute. So thank you everyone for watching. It does mean a lot to my tiny little heart. Let me know down below what you thought of the episode so far, the video, the game. And of course, without further ado, my name is, as always, Imagine18, and hopefully I see you guys in the next one. Bye bye, and stay safe, guys. Okay, bye. Bye.